Good afternoon, students and teachers. Welcome to our 1 p.m. live stream. Please stay tuned and we will get started here in a few more minutes. Please stay tuned.
Hello, everyone. I'm Congresswoman Deb Holland, and I'm honored to share a few words during this year's Discovery Festival. The 6th annual Discovery Festival, hosted by Big Brothers Big Sisters, has become a wonderful tradition, providing a wide array of opportunities for New Mexico students to discover the future of STEM. New Mexico is home to many historic and consequential scientific breakthroughs, discoveries that range from revolutionizing the way we'll power the cities of the future to expanding our ability to explore the cosmos. This year, for the first time, Big Brothers Big Sisters of Central New Mexico is hosting Discovery Fest virtually. I'm amazed at how many events and presentations this team has put together under such challenges this year, and I'm delighted to see that a record number of New Mexico students will join the fun and the learning of Discovery Fest. New Mexico is an amazing home for technology, and our kids are in a great position to learn more and take advantage of our state's unique and important role in the national tech space. In Congress, I support expanding STEM. Opportunities like Discovery Fest and fighting for resources for your incredible teachers, because I know how important science, technology, engineering, and math will be for our future. I want to let you all know about my annual Congressional App Challenge that invites students to come up with one-of-a-kind apps and have their app displayed at the national level. Students learn to code, manage a project, and learn more about technology. In that spirit, I'm thrilled to welcome this future generation of innovators, inventors, and explorers, and all the incredible teachers developing these bright young minds to this year's event. Our beautiful state of New Mexico, America, and frankly, our whole world's future will be counting on the creativity, and innovative spirit of you young people. So I want to encourage all the future physicists, researchers, biologists, and engineers watching right now to keep reaching for the stars. Learn all you can, and most of all, have fun at this year's Discovery Fest. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Congresswoman Deb Holland, for those wonderful words of support. My name is Will Toppy, and I'm the Advancement Coordinator for Big Brothers Big Sisters of Central New Mexico. And I, too, would like to welcome you to this live stream. Thank you so much for being here. As Representative Holland said, this is our 6th year of Discovery Festival. So I want to real quick talk about what Discovery Festival normally looks like, and then, of course, what it looks like right now during this pandemic. So normally, Discovery Festival is a one-day event held at the Albuquerque Convention Center. We get about 3,000 students from across Central New Mexico who all descend on the Convention Center and participate in these awesome and dynamic hands-on STEAM exhibitions. Now, STEAM means, as we all know, science, technology, engineering, art, and mathematics. And we get about 50 plus exhibitors from various areas of STEAM to all participate in these exhibitions. Our exhibitors love it, the students love it, and the teachers love it as well. It's a blast for everybody. Now, of course, this year, due to the novel COVID-19 pandemic, as you can see, I'm broadcasting from the comfort of my own home. So due to this, the outbreak of the COVID-19 virus, we have moved our event totally virtually and totally online. So we started this way back on November the 2nd, if you can believe it, 21 days ago. This has been the longest Discovery Festival in our history. But so we pivoted our event to be totally online, totally virtual through a series of live streams, bringing back all our wonderful exhibitors from Discovery Festivals past into this new virtual space. So that being said, I do want to give a shout out here to a couple of our sponsors for this event. Of course, without our sponsors, what you're seeing would not be possible. Discovery Festival, as we all know it today, would just not be happening. So a big shout out to our sponsors for this event. Honeywell, they're our our Da Vinci presenting sponsor. I can't say enough good things about Honeywell. They've been our community supporter and community partner for many years. If you've ever been to Discovery Festival before, you know they have this huge, massive booth. They have, the exhibitors lounge. They sponsor so many amazing aspects of this event. And so all of what we are doing now would not be possible without the support of Honeywell. Thank you so much, Honeywell, for your sponsorship. To our curious sponsor, Fidelity Investments. Fidelity has, they're also a big hit every year at Discovery Festival. They usually have a 3-booth spread. They talked this year about why save and what is credit. And if you missed out on those, don't worry. You can view those, the recording of those live streams by visiting our website, discoveryfestnm.org. And Fidelity is an amazing partner of ours and have been for many years. So thank you so much, Fidelity, for your sponsorship. To our ride sponsors, to Aztec Machine and Repair, based out of beautiful Bloomfield, New Mexico, and to Air Force Research Laboratories, AFRL. They presented last Tuesday, and they talked about satellites, Velocity Victors. It was one of our most popular live streams for this entire festival. AFRL never ceases to disappoint. So thank you both so much for your sponsorship, Aztec Machine and Repair and Air Force Research Laboratories. To our Newton sponsors, the Defense Threat Reduction Agency, who we had on this morning for our live stream, to Kirtland Air Force Base, who we had on just before this one, Micronet Solutions, Sandia National Laboratories, and to all of our heroes at Presbyterian Hospitals, thank you so much. Okay, and I do want to quickly lay out some ground rules here for our YouTube live stream, and wherever you're watching it right now. So if anything goes down, if the stream goes down, if there's an outage, if the internet goes out, I don't think it will. It hasn't happened so far. Fingers crossed, it's not going to start now. But if anything happens, just go right back here to our YouTube page. That's the BBBS CNM YouTube page, and the stream will be up and running very shortly. So I don't think anything's going to happen, but it's always good to have a backup plan, right? Secondly, please use the chat function. So if you have any questions, anything like that comes up during the presentation, please type it inside the chat. I will ask it to our presenter live on air. Teachers, if you are streaming this live stream into your Google Classroom, please send us those questions. Send us what school you're watching from, all that wonderful stuff. We'll be sure to read that on the live stream. I think that's everything I have to say. I always feel like I'm forgetting something, oddly enough, but I think that's it for now. I'd like to introduce our special guest for this afternoon's live stream. We have Madeline Darby from CNM School, CNM Recruitment. I don't know, I want to say School of something, but CNM Recruitment. Madeline, how are you?
Doing well. Thanks for having me on here, Will.
Awesome. Okay, I'm going to kick it right over to you and I'll pop back in once we have some questions.
Wonderful. Thank you. All right. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. My name is Madeline Darby. I am the recruitment manager for Central New Mexico Community College up here in Albuquerque. My goal here today is to present to you all about some of the opportunities that CNM offers to you all, regardless of what age you are. It's never too early to start thinking about college. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And we're just going to go through a quick PowerPoint presentation so there's something to look at other than my face for the next 30 or so minutes. All right, here. So here's just some fun facts about CNM that you may or may not know. So we are the largest community college in New Mexico. We serve over 22,000 students. So over 22,000 students choose us every year, and that is a huge number. That's really awesome. We offer over 100 different programs here at CNM, and those vary from associate level degrees, which, as you may or may not know, those typically take about 2 years to complete. And then we also have a ton of different certificate programs as well. Those vary in terms of length, just depending on which certificate program you're interested in. If you're from the Albuquerque area, you may have seen we have lots of different locations, 9 locations to be exact, spread out between Albuquerque and Rio Rancho. And that makes us really accessible to our students, which is really important. Maybe not super useful right now since we're all working from the comfort of our own homes. But you know, those who still have to be on campus, we are close by. You may have seen the cool cat down there at the bottom. His name is Soul the Sun Cat. He is CNM's mascot, and I just like to point him out because he's cute, and too, so that you know if you see his face, it has something to do with CNM. One of my favorite facts about CNM is that our average class size is only 20 students. So if you're a senior in high school, start paying attention to average class sizes when you're researching what institution you may want to go to after high school. Start paying attention to that because you don't want to be in a huge lecture hall or in these days a huge Zoom lobby, right? Where it's hard to even get a word in edgewise with your instructor. So start looking for those smaller average class sizes, and as you'll come to see, 20 students is really phenomenal. But perhaps one of my favorite facts total about CNM is the last one I included on the bottom left there, which is upon graduation, 95% of our students find jobs in their chosen fields. And that's huge, guys. So as a college graduate myself, I can attest to, you know, it's hard enough just to find a job in anything once you graduate, right? So the fact that the majority of our students find jobs and their jobs within their fields, that is huge, right? Because that's kind of the point of going to college. You want to find a job that you're going to really enjoy. So just a little factoid to keep in the back of your mind. So like I mentioned, we have over 100 different programs here at CNM, and the way we divide them up here is by academic school. So as you see on the right-hand side of the screen there, we have 6 academic schools, which next I'm going to actually go through each of them just briefly, just to kind of highlight some of the programs, but there's definitely not enough time to get into all of the programs. So if I remember here, I'll also show you the website, which is one of the most useful higher education websites I personally have ever seen. So we'll talk about the programs, and then I also want to touch on the new 100% online CNM college, which is really exciting. So I'm going to go ahead and get started here to talk about our programs. So the first academic school is called the School of Adult and General Education. We call it SAGE for short. So this is a school that has programs such as high school equivalency, such as the GED or the HiSET, you may have heard those terms. Also English as a second language, ESL, English for speakers of other languages. So a bunch of different programs, not maybe super applicable to you all, you know, especially the high school equivalency part. You all are going to graduate, but you may know folks who do need these programs and who could utilize them. So I just like to mention that we have them at the top of the presentation. Next up is our School of Applied Technologies. This is a really hands-on school. So if you're a hands-on learner, chances are there's going to be a really good program for you here. One of my favorite programs that I've learned about at CNM is our Aviation Maintenance Technology program. This is just one of those programs that I never really took the time to think about. Oh yeah, we probably do need a program for folks to know how to work on, our airplanes that we ride in, right? All of that stuff. We of course need people to work on that. I just never really thought about it. But here at CNM, we have a great program for it. I actually started working for CNM mid-pandemic, so I've only been here a little while. And so I haven't been able to see all of campus quite yet, but I do understand that we have a facility on one of our campuses that actually houses life-size actual aircraft that our students get to work on, which I just think is so cool. And that's what you see indicated there on that photo. Another industry you probably have heard here in Albuquerque that's booming is the film industry. I actually just read an article about Netflix maybe expanding up here in Albuquerque, which is exciting. So if you're interested in getting in that field, we have a really good program called the Film Technician Program. And that's for folks wanting to get into the field, but maybe not, so much as an actor, in front of the screen, but behind the scenes kind of stuff. So maybe if you want to be like a camera operator or a sound engineering technician, something like that, that's what our film technician program is. And it's really, really awesome and really lucrative, especially right here in Albuquerque. I also just like to mention welding. As a recruiter, I recruited many years out on the road when we were all face-to-face. Remember those old days? So when I would drive around the state and recruit students, a big question I always got was, do you guys have welding? So welding is just a really popular field, and CNM has a really strong welding program. And the graduates from this program typically go into energy or construction, manufacturing, all of those sorts of things. So it's a really lucrative degree if you're interested in that sort of thing. Next up is our School of Business and Information Technology. So as the title states, we have a ton of different business related programs, right? Which, like accounting and business listed here. And, the skills you pick up from those sorts of programs are going to be applicable no matter what program or what career you end up doing, right? So it's always a great idea to have a business foundation. Also within this school, we have a really great information technology side of things. So everything to do with computers, which, we can't live without these days, right? And one program that I know that's really popular is called Computer Information Systems. And that's where you work on cloud computing, web programming, all of that sort of stuff, again, that we can't live without these days. So it's going to be a really lucrative degree for you, and it's all right here at CNM. Next up, we have the School of Communication, Humanities, and Social Sciences. This is actually the largest school at CNM, so there are a ton of different programs that you can choose just within this one school. One program that I've always found interesting, even as a little girl, I've always thought anthropology was a really cool field. You can apply it in lots of different ways, right? So if you're interested in conservation efforts, anthropology can be applied. Maybe if you're interested in, going into forensic investigations, that could be really cool, a neat way to apply anthropology. So lots of different ways to utilize that. I also like to mention that within this school, we actually have a program called Liberal Arts. And that program is for those of you who maybe don't know what you want to do, right? You don't know what you want to be when you grow up. That is totally fine. So that's why we have this program for you, where you can take your general education classes that'll basically be required no matter what program you decide on, like your Englishes, your maths, your physical sciences, that sort of stuff. And then you can also sample classes from lots of other schools. So you have some opportunities there to get a feel for college life, get a feel for what maybe would be interesting to you. And then this liberal arts degree is designed to transfer. So you can take all of those credits with you to a four-year institution once you've had a chance to really think about what you want to do in the future and get into a program that really applies to your interests. And I also do like to mention pre-architecture. That's another one of those programs I always got asked about on the road. Students are just super into architecture these days, which I love. I think that's super awesome. The only architecture school here in New Mexico is actually the University of New Mexico, also up here in Albuquerque, which I think is pretty useful, at least for us CNM folks. We could just send you on down the road. So I do encourage students, get started at CNM for the pre-architecture program. It's a smoother transition, getting your feet wet, figuring out what college life is like, because it is a little bit different than high school. Getting a chance to get to know the program, and you're sure that you're going to like architecture. And then after you complete your 2 years with us, you can transfer to UNM or to another school outside of the state if you'd like. So just my 2 cents on that. Next up is our School of Health, Wellness, and Public Safety. Lots of really interesting programs here. So prior to the pandemic, I did get a chance to check out the cosmetology facility, which I think is just super cool. If you live here in Albuquerque, it's over on the Montoya campus off of Juan Tabo. So the cosmetology facility is basically a salon. Actual clientele can go in there to make appointments to get their hair done, nails done, makeup, all that cool stuff, which I think is just really valuable because our students get to apply what they learn in the classroom on actual clientele. That helps them get better at their craft, but also it builds their confidence. That way they know that they're going to be successful once they leave CNM, which I think is just super valuable. A really popular program here as well is the Emergency Medical Services Program. So maybe you're interested in being an EMT, a paramedic. This is a really great program because we actually do have our students utilize the equipment that EMTs use on the job every day. So that way, again, you know what you're doing, and when you graduate from CNM and go out into the workforce, you know that you're going to be successful and that you're going to do things correctly, which is super important in that kind of that line of work, right? And then lastly, I do also like to mention with this school, nursing. That's probably the most popular program at CNM that I always get questions about. So nursing is really popular. So I just like to mention at the get-go that nursing does have a 2-step admissions process. So not only do you have to be admitted to CNM, we have open admissions though, so you'll be accepted there, but then you also have to follow admission requirements set forth by the nursing department. So, and all of those requirements are listed on the nursing school or nursing program's website. So it's all listed for you so you can get prepared. But if you have any questions about it, if you need help navigating, please feel free to reach out, and I'm happy to get you set on the right track there. All right, and last school here is the School of Math, Science, and Engineering. Lots of really good, all of your basic math programs, your sciences, a lot of which are listed here. Also engineering, I know that that's just a really booming industry right now. A lot of students are getting into the engineering field. So similar to the architecture program, I like to encourage students to get started at CNM for our engineering program that's only 2 years. And the reason for that, in addition to all of the reasons I stated for architecture, like smoother transition, smaller class sizes, more affordability, but also there's a lot of different types of engineering out there. So this, taking those 2 classes or 2 years worth of classes at CNM gives you some time to figure out what kind of engineer you want to be, right? Do you want to be in civil engineering, mechanical, aerospace, electronic? So there's lots of different types of engineering out there. So again, once take those two years worth of classes of engineering, figure out what you want to do, and then you can take those credits with you and transfer to a great 4-year institution. Most engineers do need that 4-year degree under their belt. But lucky for us, we have lots of great 4-year engineering schools nearby. So just my 2 cents again on getting started at CNM and then transferring. And then lastly, I just wanted to touch on our brand new online college. So this is brand new, just started fall of 2020. What this is you can obtain these 8 programs. We have different associate level degrees, and then we also have 2 certificates. Those can be obtained 100% online from start to finish, COVID or no COVID, which is really great, right? Especially for folks who need a little bit more flexibility. Like, maybe you have to work a full-time job and you don't have time to go to a brick and mortar classroom at a set time every day. We have these 8 degrees currently 100% online available to you, which I'm really excited about. So just like to mention that. And I actually think I'm going to hop over to the CNM website just to kind of highlight, maybe I didn't touch on a program that you're interested in. I want to show you how to find information because, like I said, it's a super useful website. So I just came here to cnm.edu, and I'm just going to hover over here on programs and classes. Right here is programs A through Z. We'll click there. And then this website, as you see, lists all of the programs that CNM has to offer in alphabetical order, which is really, really nice. You can get a feel for what we have. And then let's say you're interested in business. What you can do is just click on that one, and you can see exactly which degrees and which certificates are offered within that field. So as you can see, business has a ton of different options for you. So just as a, just so you all are aware, there are two different types of associate's degrees here at CNM. The first type, as you'll see, are in parentheses is AAS. That stands for Associate of Applied Science. So these sort of degrees are typically built for students who plan to join the workforce immediately after graduating from CNM. So we don't necessarily expect you to move on to a 4-year program, although of course you still can. This Associate of Arts, that is a 2-year program that is designed to transfer. We do expect you to move on to a 4-year program after your CNM degree. And then we have a lot of different certificates here. As you can see, those are typically for students who are already in the workforce and they're just looking to level up their skill set. Okay, but let's say maybe you're interested in getting started in the Associate of Arts of Business. You want to transfer down the road, but you want to get started at CNM. You can click there. This talks to you all about how the program works. We have special requirements listed, approximate costs, which is super useful, career opportunities, which is super useful. But perhaps my favorite part is we list all of the classes that you'll be required to take right here on this website, and they're divided up by terms. So this is helpful, especially if you do want to transfer, you're in term 2, but you're planning ahead and you're like, well, actually next semester I'm going to take intermediate composition. Will that transfer to your 4-year program, right? So this is just a really nice tool to have a roadmap of exactly what you'll be doing at CNM. And then you can follow where you go after that. Okay, so I just like to mention that website. I'm just a fan of it. I find it super useful. But we'll get back to the presentation here. So I just want to talk to you all a little bit about cost, because every institution that has your program is interesting, but then you start thinking about, oh, how much is this going to cost me, right? Well, I'm excited to tell you that CNM is very affordable. So as I have listed here, we have 3 different brackets here, but the main one that most students fall into is the middle bracket, 12 to 18 credit hours. That is considered full-time at the community college level. So at CNM, you'll be a full-time student if you take between 12 and 18 credit hours. If you can be a full-time student, we have a flat tuition rate listed for you here, which is $672. So that's per term. And we call them terms here at CNM because we consider summer a regular term, right? So it's not just 2 semesters, we go year round. So, $672 for a semester's worth, that is a steal, guys. That's super affordable. But let's say maybe you do have to work, and you can't afford to be a full-time student. We do have cost per credit hour for you all as well. That's listed here on the left. So it's going to be $56 per credit hour. Most classes are going to be 3 credits, although a few can be 4, especially if it's some sort of lab class. Okay, so I just like to mention that that is an option for you. But like I said, most students do qualify for this full-time rate at $672 per term, which is awesome, guys. I'm telling you, it's a steal. But if you don't have $672 laying around, don't worry, neither do I. So we have great ways to help you pay for college. So we have great scholarships, and then we also honor what the FAFSA offers you all. So in terms of scholarships, we have a couple of state-funded scholarships that you may have heard of, right? You may have heard of the New Mexico Lottery Scholarship, also called the New Mexico Lottery Legislative Scholarship. What this is it's for New Mexico high school graduates who are also New Mexico residents. If you meet those 2 criteria, what you have to do is your very first semester of college, they are looking for you to meet 2 criteria. The first is you have to maintain a 2.5 GPA, and the second is you have to maintain at least 12 credit hours at the community college level. Okay, so as long as you meet those 2 criteria, your very first semester of college, you'll start getting the lottery starting your second semester, which is normally the spring semester. Most people start in the fall. The amount of the lottery changes every single year. It just depends on the state's budget. So when you're in your senior year of high school, start paying attention to those legislative sessions. Those typically happen around May or June, and that will be the time when we'll find out how much that scholarship will cover for you specifically. Okay, and so like I said, that very first semester is what they call your qualifying semester to make sure you meet those 2 criteria. So in the meantime, there is no funding for lottery, right? Because they're waiting for you to meet that criteria. So here at CNM, we have an amazing scholarship called the Bridge to Success. And that's for those of you who are on track to be getting that lottery scholarship. But it provides a cushion for that very first semester where we cover that entire first semester. It covers up to $717 to be exact, I believe. And that is your entire term in terms of tuition and any applicable registration fees. So that is huge, guys. That's a free semester basically. And then you just wait for the lottery to kick in and we'll just see how much that will cover for you when it comes time for you to come to college. So those are the 2 state-funded scholarships. And then we also have a really great opportunity here at CNM for all of the other types of scholarships we have. So we have something called a My Scholarship application. What this is it's a one and done application that you'll fill out. It has a bunch of multiple choice questions. There's a section for you to write a description about yourself. You know, why are you studying what you are? What are your career goals? That sort of thing. You'll also want to include a letter of recommendation, you know, from a high school counselor perhaps. And then once you submit that application, we will do the rest. So behind the scenes, we'll automatically pair you for any other CNM scholarship that you might qualify for. And that can vary, you know, widely. So, you know, just for being a nursing student could qualify, or must be military dependent, right? Your parents are in the military, something like that. So there's just a lot of different scholarships out there. So we take the guesswork out and we'll automatically pair you depending on your answers on this one application. So I'm excited about that. And then on top of our scholarships, like I said, we of course honor what the FAFSA offers you all. As a reminder, FAFSA stands for Free Application for Federal Student Aid. I do encourage all of my students to fill out this every single year, starting your senior year of high school. So if you're an underclassman, don't worry about it quite yet. It opens up October 1st of your senior year with a priority deadline of March 1st. And I like students to fill this out so that we can see if you qualify for any of the 3 types of aid listed here. So what are these? First, we have Pell Grants. That is free money from the government, also called gift money, aka the best kind of money, right? You don't want to pay that back, which is exciting. Second kind here, we have work study. That's where you have an on-campus job or remote job. We do have remote work study jobs during the pandemic. That's where you work up to 20 hours a week for CNM in a variety of different fields. And it's super convenient, guys. That's actually how I got my start. I started as a work study for the admissions office at the school that I attended. And it was really convenient. I would work a couple of hours in the morning, walk to my classes, maybe go back a little bit more in the afternoon, depending on my work schedule. Didn't even have to fight traffic. And I was building my resume while I'm in college, which is really, really valuable. And I also like to stress that it's important because the employers for work study understand that you're at CNM to study first and work second. So this is really valuable, especially when it comes time for midterms or finals. You know, they can be a little bit flexible with your schedule so that you're successful. And then lastly here, we have student loans. We've all heard about them. We have a love-hate relationship with them, right? Because they help us go to school, but we do have to pay them back with interest. So I just like to tell students, you know, listen to what everybody says. You know, student loans aren't fun to pay back. Take it from me, it's true. So just take as little as you possibly can, right? So just take what you need to help pay for your education, but it is there as a resource if you need it. All right, almost done here, guys. Just wanted to mention some resources available to you all here at CNM. So I've been in the higher education field for about 12 years now, only working for CNM for about 4 months. But I can tell you that CNM is one of the most supportive colleges that I've ever worked for. There's just a ton of different resources for you all from start to finish throughout your time at CNM. Of course, one big one would be tutoring, right? Our ACE tutoring services. And yes, we do still offer that even remotely. We shifted everything to where we still help our students online, given everything going on, which I think is really important. Perhaps two of my favorite types of people here that I've met at CNM so far are these folks here listed as navigators and coaches. So my job as a recruiter is to help you through the application process to where it's submitted. But it's not like I'm like, oh, okay, figure it out from now. You submitted your application, good luck. That's not how we work here at CNM. So once you're admitted to CNM, you'll be assigned someone called a navigator. And this is the sort of person that will help you with any sort of business item questions that will pop up, like, did you all get my dual credit transcripts? Do I need a CNM ID, a student ID? If so, where do I go to get one? All of those sorts of questions that will start to pop up. We have someone to help you out, figure all of that out. And then when it comes time to register for your classes, we have people called academic coaches who are the pros at all of the programs here at CNM, so they know all of the ins and outs. So they'll be able to help you figure out what classes you need. They'll help you through the registration process, which is great if you're not sure how to do it quite yet. But they go even further than that. They also are financial coaches, so they can help provide any tools if you need some sort of financial assistance. They also help with job exploration. So lots of great resources, throughout your entire time here at CNM, which is really important because we want to make sure that you're successful. Okay, and I just wanted to mention dual credit as well. So if you're an underclassman or even a senior in high school, I do recommend that you take advantage of dual credit. It's a really, really great opportunity for you guys to get a head start in your college career. It's a smoother transition, right? So you get your feet wet, get a feel for what college life is like by taking a class or two. That way, when it comes time for you to be a full-blown college student, you'll be like, oh, I got this. I've done this before, which is really, half the battle is your confidence in doing it. So plus it's a really affordable way to get it done. It's free tuition for students, and then the textbooks are covered by public schools and charter schools, although double check with your counselor at your school, because I understand some state budget changes have maybe changed that for some schools, but for the majority, my understanding is those are still covered. So it's a really, like I said, affordable way to get a head start on your college career, and definitely take a look into it if you are interested. And just to sort of wrap things up here, I have some steps on how to become a CNM student. So first things first, we do need that application. What's great about our application at CNM is that it's free. And we have open enrollment, like I said, so you're gonna be accepted. You just have to submit one. And when you submit a college application, you're not committing. So apply to me, even if you're not totally sure that you wanna come to CNM. Apply to UNM, apply to out-of-state schools, to your dream schools, apply everywhere, guys. And I tell students this every single year, especially this time of year. This is, deadline season. So apply everywhere. You're not committing. Don't be afraid. You could always tell me no, that you don't want to come to CNM, and I won't take it personally. I just want you guys to have options because life happens, pandemics happen. That happened this year to a lot of my students, and plans change. So it's just nice to have some backup plans in place. So that's my little soapbox and my 2 cents, take them or leave them. But I recommend taking them. So definitely get your application into us. And then you can move on down the list here to getting your account set up, to talking to our financial aid advisors, going through orientation, signing up for your classes, all of that good stuff. So you're ready to go by day 1 of classes. And then last screen here is just my contact information. So I am your person. If you have any questions about CNM, please feel free to reach out to me. We've been saying, my name is Madeline Darby, but feel free to call me Maddie. Easier to pronounce, easier to spell. And you can reach me at this phone number listed here. It actually does come through my laptop, so I'm able to answer the phone even though I'm here at home. You can send me an email to a really easy to remember email address listed there. And then lastly, we have a really cool video chat option for our students now. Since we can't be in our offices due to the pandemic and we're all at home, we can still take one-on-one appointments, or you can just pop in to our video chat room, and it's live Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Myself or a couple of other folks will be in there that entire time. So feel free to pop in if you just have questions, or it's really useful if maybe you're filling out the application and you get stuck. Pop in there, because you can share your screen that way, and that way we can see what errors you're running into, which just helps us to help you as best as we can with all this craziness going on. So I encourage questions all the time. Please feel free to reach out to me. Even if you're an underclassman, it's never too early to start asking questions. Please don't feel like you're asking dumb questions. I am here with my dogs all day, guys. So please send me some questions so I have some human interaction. And I'm happy to help you all with this process. So thank you so much. That's all I have.
Awesome. There's two things that you said, Madeline, that I want to kind of hone in on that I think are important for students to remember. I know that we got some questions about the last time, will CNM help me find scholarships or apply for scholarships? And just as you said, there's a lot of amazing free money out there that people, that even I didn't know about when I was applying for colleges, that there are some people, some companies, some organizations who are like, hey, here's just take this money and go with it. You don't ever have to pay it back. It's not a loan that you have to worry about paying off years down the line. It's an amazing resource. And I think what's great about what CNM and the programs that Madeline was talking about today is that they'll help link you up with some of that free money that's floating around and get you synced up with that kind of stuff, which is an amazing, amazing, amazing resource.
Yeah.
And two, the second thing that I think is always very important to mention as well is the dual credit program. And of course, we're having CNM on tomorrow morning at 9:30 to talk about their dual credit program. So if you're interested more in that, please check that presentation out. But what's amazing is that if you're watching this and you're in high school, or if you're a teacher and you teach high schoolers, or a parent and you have high schoolers, this is a great program that you can start your college learning now, get a jump start on everything and everybody, and enter the workforce earlier. So I think those are two really important things to mention. So a common question that we get in these presentations, Madeline, especially now, again, as you're broadcasting from home, as I'm broadcasting from home, is CNM online or all virtual right now?
Yes, that's a really good question. So approximately 90% of our classes are being held online. So if they can be taught online, we're teaching them online just to be safe. But of course, there are some things that we just can't teach virtually. So about 10% are still face-to-face, but it's just, smaller class sizes, more social distancing, all of that good stuff. That is the plan going forward in the spring term as well. We haven't had any updates quite yet about summer, so we'll just have to wait and see.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember we had the aviation maintenance on a couple of weeks ago from CNM, and they were saying that they have to be in person because you can't send you home with a plane to work on, right?
Right.
So yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And this is another common question that we get in these presentations, or even just with college recruiters in general. What if I'm not sure about what I want to do when I grow up?
Definitely. Yeah. And I like to tell students, don't worry. I just turned 30 last month, actually. So, and I still don't really know what I want to be when I grow up. So don't worry if you're not totally set. Like I said, we have a program for you called the Liberal Arts Program, where you can just get started. That's part of the battle, right? Just getting started, start taking some classes, see what might be interesting to you. And we have a program designed for folks who don't know exactly what they want to do, and we'll provide some opportunities to explore so you can figure that out.
Yeah. And then, a lot of these programs as well have kind of base core classes, so to speak, right, that you have to take before you advance into any degree. So it's always a good idea to get started and get a jump start on those programs, even if it isn't a dual credit. You don't have to know what you want to do when you grow up to start a dual credit program, right? So it's a real common thing. I mean, for me, it took, I think, 3 years at the university to be able to actually figure out, okay, I think I know what I want to graduate with. It takes a lot of time to chew on that stuff, so it's great. And finally, so what is the difference between a certificate and a degree?
Sure. So certificates are typically programs designed for folks who are already in the workforce, but they're just looking to level up their skills. Like maybe they want to get a certificate in digital media marketing, right? Just to be a little bit more lucrative in terms of this virtual space. And specific degree, those are typically for, well, there's two different types of degrees. There's an Associate of Applied Science degree. So applied science typically means you're planning to apply what you've learned right after getting that degree. You're not necessarily going to transfer to get a higher degree, although that's definitely an option. Then we also have Associate of Arts degrees that are designed to be transferred. So we have great transferability programs within the state of New Mexico, where we have these two-year programs. Like you said, take those foundational classes, and then you can transfer to a four-year institution that is really interesting to you. You know, take engineering as an example. You know, take those 2 years foundational classes that are going to be applicable no matter what kind of engineer you want to be. But then you can take that with you to a four-year institution once you know you want to be like a civil engineer. So a couple of different options for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, okay, great. Madeline, thank you so much for coming on again today and talking a little bit about CNM and the recruitment process. It's always a blast to have CNM on. And don't forget, students and teachers, tomorrow morning at 9:30 a.m., we're going to be talking to we're going to be talking to CNM again, but about dual credit. So if you know a high schooler, you are a high schooler or teach high schoolers, this would be fantastic for those students. So thanks so much, Madeline.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Have a great afternoon.
All right, take care.
Bye.
And I do, as always, want to give a shout out to our sponsors for this event. Again, what you're seeing would not be possible without their continued support. So thank you so much to our presenting sponsor, Honeywell. Honeywell is fantastic. To Fidelity Investments, our Curie sponsor for this event, Aztec Machine and Repair, Air Force Research Laboratories, the Defense Threat Reduction Agency, Kirtland Air Force Base, Micronet Solutions, Sandia National Laboratories, and Presbyterian Hospitals. Thank you all so much for your advocacy and support. We're going to see you tomorrow morning at 9:30 a.m. Take care, everyone. Stay healthy and safe. Bye-bye.